I think Franky's soldier dock system is ingenious, and the throwback to the Going Merry was also very touching, but the island of Thriller Bark itself is really creepy.
This be One Piece Chapter 444, Adventure on Ghost Island.
It's already getting thick in here, huh? Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and fellow skeletons and zombies of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and I'm here to bring you another review on the awesome and epic and kinda deadish tale of One Piece. Now, our last chapter saw really the ending of the chapter kind of being that while having this conversation over a meal with Brook, this gentleman skeleton, they found that not only the Thousand Sunny, but Brook's ship as well had somehow just been put behind this wall and actually in this place called this floating island of or wandering island, whatever he referred to as, of Thriller Bark. And at the end of the chapter, Brook basically said, get out of here as quick as you can, and farewell, we'll see you, blah blah blah, and took off. And just took off running on the water. And that's how things left off, right? Things wind up picking up, obviously, right at that point, and we're sitting here, and now the Straw Hats are figuring out how they're going to get out of here. They're in this mouth gate. It looks like the mouth that they're actually behind of runs through a wall that goes around, it looks like the entirety of this island of Thriller Bark. So they're going to have to obviously figure out how to get out and get past that. Luffy, however, has hungry eyes or googly eyes or whatever you want to call them for actually going on an adventure on the island, even though everybody else, for the most part, is kind of like, you know, they're either like indifferent about it or they're scared shitless, you know, in the case of like, Chopper and Usopp and stuff like that, you know. What we wind up seeing in this chapter, though, and I think is kind of cool, we get a little bit, just a little bit more in each chapter revealed up on the Straw Hats' new ship, the Thousand Sunny. Franky is obviously a technical genius with some of the different things that he comes up with, but the soldier dock system that he has actually has these 5 different channels, and in each one, when he goes and changes it and rotates it, it has a different surprise, so to speak, right? And we've already seen the thing where it kind of the paddle system, the propulsion system, that sort of thing. But he winds up actually having they show pretty much everything that's in all the other docks. One of the docks actually has this cool like submarine, this little submersible. Another one has like this one-man piloted like wave runner skiff type thing. I'm assuming maybe the thing from Skypiea. And then the other one they wind up seeing, which I thought was really cool and a nice little nod and throwback, you know, kind of just gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling inside, you know, and it lets you know that that Oda cared just as much about the Merry as a lot of us probably did as well, you know. And it's a mini Merry, he calls it. He calls it a shopping boat, I think, you know. And basically it's just a smaller, you know, kind of to get to shore type of skiff, you know, whatever you want to call it, this little steam powered mini version of the Going Merry. And it's a 4-person ship. So anyway, what winds up happening is Nami and Usopp and Chopper, who all want to have really nothing to do with the island, they go and they see this little shopping boat, this mini Merry. They all jump into it and they kind of go chugging around over there, you know. Now keep in mind that they're still not, they're anchored, but they're still offshore. The island's in sight. Yes, they're behind the gate, but they're not like at the shore yet. You know, they're still a few hundred yards away. I don't know, and there's still this thick fog everywhere. So anyway, as they kind of go off and do their thing, we get the rest of the rest of everybody on the ship. You know, Franky and Zoro and Sanji and Luffy, and Robin. They're all on the ship, and there is all of a sudden their anchor goes and pulls. And they're like, what the hell? Who pulled the anchor? You know, nobody did that. And Franky's like, no, I just dropped it. Blah blah. So there's something afoot. There's something going on, and all of a sudden this hatch in the deck opens up. And they think they can hear like a growling of something, some kind of beast or whatever. And then weird things start happening. You know, weird things start happening where all of a sudden Luffy's face starts stretching out. He's like, I'm not doing it, you know. So clearly there's some kind of invisible force or being, beast, whatever. That's what it seems like to me. That's manipulating and kind of screwing with the Straw Hats, messing with their heads. Because they're kind of just like Sanji goes, he's like, that's it, I'm going to fight Nami and them, because you know they haven't been back in a few minutes. And as he goes, somebody grabs onto his feet, he smashes his face on the ground, and they pick him up and throw him against the wall. Something comes up and looks like it's licking or maybe fondling Robin. I don't know, something like that. And just whatever this is, it's obviously some kind of, again, some kind of being, some kind of, it's invisible, or it's the essence or being, or maybe it can only be seen on like another plane of existence. You know, I don't know, you know, like with a ghost or what have you, because that's initially what they think, is that it's some kind of ghost. And we know Luffy, of course, wants to go on land, and prior to the Mini Mary going out, it was going to be Luffy and then Franky and Robin were going to go out with him. And what I thought was kind of cool is Robin, who doesn't usually say a whole lot about things, you know, she was like, yeah, I like a good thrill every now and then. And I was thinking, oh, okay, is that meant to be sort of like an offhanded sexual reference? I don't know. But anyway, as they go and they look out and they can't find the Mini Mary anywhere, they're like, what the hell, you know, what happened? Then it goes and it takes us for the second portion of the chapter, I guess you would say, and it actually takes us to the Mini Mary, or the kind of aftermath of what happened with it, with Usopp, Chopper, and Nami. Apparently, they went and they got too close to shore and wound up getting thrown out of the boat. And as they got thrown out of it, they wound up going over this little wall, and there's like this moat that is, I don't know, I think they say it's 6, 7, 8 meters deep. So, you know, whatever, 20, 25 feet deep. It's this moat that they're in. And it reminds me very much of, if you've ever seen the movie Labyrinth, very much that kind of enclosed space where there's the walls on each side, real high walls, and it looks like you can go either way, you know. So real cool stuff. But they initially wind up finding out, I mean, just within a few seconds of being down there, you know, they're trying to talk about how, listen, you know, Luffy and them will come looking for us, so as long as we stay here, we'll be cool. But then they go and they talk about it, and Chopper's like, I don't really like this because it's below water level. It can obviously be flooded, you know. So they're like, all right, well, maybe we should find higher ground, blah, blah, blah. As they're discussing that, all of a sudden they're like, what's that? And they wind up going and seeing this cool-looking, drawn, three-headed dog, a Cerberus, right? And they're like, oh man, I thought that we must be in hell. That's supposed to be the dog of hell, you know. Well, this thing starts chasing it. One of its heads, though, actually looks like a fox, you know. And so this thing's chasing them, barking them, you know, barking at them, freaking out. And they're running, you know. They wind up eventually seeing some stairs that go back up. Oh, that heads back up towards the surface, you know. And then they go and they get back up towards the surface. And I thought it was kind of cool. Oh, we made it, you know. And this is how the chapter winds up ending off. They see this really cool kind of, I don't know if this has any significance, but just the way it's drawn, this really neat looking tree that's kind of in the background, this big ominous sort of evil looking tree, you know. And then you get the let's see here, I'm roaming around, yes indeed, here we go. And then we get the, what, who's there? And all of a sudden someone comes upon him and he says, my name is Hilden. And it's this creepy ass, like, hanging upside down looking freaking clown, man. I hate clowns, but anyway, that's besides the point. And he's just like, you were being chased by the wild dog, so I took the liberty of sneaking up behind you. The night has only begun in this part of the forest. Soon this forest will become so dangerous that it will seem to be not of this world. If you would like, I can take you by carriage. And there's this really cool looking, sort of creepy ass horse and carriage deal going on, and I'm just thinking, oh no, don't do that shit. I've seen enough movies to know you probably shouldn't do that shit, right? Anyway, he says, and I'll take you to the mansion of my master, Dr. Hogback. I'm like, what? And then we get, you know, and then, what's his name? And then Chopper's like, Hogback? And for some reason, Hogback sounds familiar to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something, maybe it was like a reference, or maybe I'm thinking, like, in my mind, like the Davy Back fights or something like that. But I could have swore that I've heard the name Hogback somewhere. Maybe a reference to it or something, maybe an obscure reference. I don't know. I guess it'll remain to be seen as things wind up unfolding. But so far, I like this. I get a nice feeling of, not really so much a feeling of dread and terror, but I like that it's just this different, unexpected area. I was expecting that we were going to Fishman Island, and instead, you know, you kind of get thrown for a loop over here. They're going through this Florian Triangle. I assume there would be some kind of shit in something going on in the Florian Triangle, but had no idea what the reference to Thriller Bark was. I didn't know if that was just them going to Fishman Island, and this is what. Anyway, the point being is that it has a real moody, sort of atmospheric, you know, something like from a Transylvania type of deal, and that's how I feel. You know, I feel as if it's like a horror movie, but more of like a Dracula or Frankenstein one, where it's not really so horrifying as it is just sort of, I don't know, atmospheric and maybe creepy. You know, that's kind of what I feel. I don't feel it so much that it's scary, at least not yet. But what I really would like to know, though, my chapter question, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on the soldier dock system that Franky put in on the actual Thousand Sunny? Personally, I think it's ingenious. It's very cool. He makes it out like, you know, like the Thousand Sunny is kind of like the mothership of this little armada, and there's these smaller ones that can go out for various purposes. And obviously, you know, the one-man, you know, kind of fast wave runner, maybe for scouting or what have you. Certainly, the throwback to the Going Merry, the Little Mary, the steam-powered one was very cool, you know, and everybody's going to be excited to go on food shopping trips and Nami for clothes and shoes and shit. But then, of course, the submarine as well, which we just sort of, you know, saw as they were explaining things. But anyway, my point is, and my question is, what are your thoughts on Franky's soldier dock system that he came up with for the Thousand Sunny? Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation. This is all possible because of you. Thanks for watching.